We are live, I think. What is up? Do these work? Okay, cool. So I'm gonna be trying something new. I want to start doing on Mondays now, which is reading the top devs stories, top stories from the week on the devs territory here on StackerNews. And I figured it was a good time to go through StackerNews' new local environment setup, which is so much easier. So I'm going to set up the new local environment, kind of walk you through the basics of it, and hopefully work on a few little StackerNews fixes that I'm working on for cross-posting. But yeah, we'll see how far into it we get. But yeah, I just want to... there's a lot of interesting content that just flies by every week in devs, and some of it I have a lot to say, and I'm not the quickest writer. So I was like, well, why don't I just talk through some of these stories on some streams once a week, and yeah, just kind of keep up to date with what's happening in devs. So pretty slow week overall. Well, actually, it's been kind of a crazy week for me. I've been working on a lot I'm really excited to share and to be working on stream soon, but just a bunch of shit I've had to do in the background to get it set up. But nonetheless, world moves on, Bitcoin moves on, we're above 70K again, so let's go. But yeah, I'm just gonna see how many of these stories I get through and see what we have interesting to look into. So starting at the top story of the week. Let's see, I'm doing this by Zap rank. I could do it by sats. The Zap rank would be, I guess, the higher trust score versus just the highest number of sats. So we'll do Zap rank. We'll probably touch on most of these anyway. So by Zap rank, this one is the top from Signal312. Cheapest way to put up a very basic website. Cool, so I know a couple of nonprofits that need a very basic website, more like a business card online. What's the cheapest way of doing this? Ideally something that has fairly easy interface, good for non-web developers, like Weebly or something, but cheap is more important. So this is a pretty interesting ask, and I think people would have different answers for this. It looks like top comment here, GitHub pages is the obvious choice that jumps out for me. GitLab pages, I've never used that. I'm guessing that's just like the self-hosted version, which is pretty cool. I didn't know you could do that. Cloudflare pages, probably a similar thing. So all of them offer free static website hosting with the support for custom domains. You can use Hugo, Jekyll, Pelican, Gatsby, or whatever static site generator you prefer. Okay, looks super interesting. They definitely don't appear to package free static website hosting as a package. I guess you have to dig around the sites and figure out how to do it. And null count says cheap, easy, quality, pick two. Cheap, easy is not quality. Easy, quality, not cheap. Example of Facebook page. Not cheap would be Wix or Squarespace. Cheap with quality, not easy, would be GitHub pages or self-hosting in general. Watch this tutorial on GitHub pages to decide if it's right for you. Okay, this is a really great oops, I just tapped the wrong comment. This is a good take right here, because yeah, it's definitely like a lot of times you are picking between trade-offs. And for me, what gets me excited is often cheap and quality, or free and quality, and then trying to wrap it up to make it as easy as possible. And so an example, actually a perfect example I have of this is, so my wife, Jana, she has plebpoet.com. She has this static website that I helped her put together. It looks pretty nice. She has like her articles, her art. She has the book that she wrote on here and stuff like that. And let's go to the GitHub. Sweet. And she's not a dev at all, but she knew some basic HTML and CSS from like high school. So I was able to show her just two things. I was able to show her how to use Vercel and then how to use GitHub. So obviously she has her GitHub account here. So we learned how to set up GitHub. We learned how to connect Vercel to your GitHub. And then what we did is we went to, we got a free, so like free HTML template. I forget what the website is. Yeah, HTML5 up. This is a really good one, or it has like 30 or something. Really nice, just like HTML, CSS template websites. And so basically we took one of these. I actually think we took this one right here, exactly, Phantom. And we just kind of emptied out all the boilerplate and just replaced it with her text. And she knew how to like update the colors and do some basic CSS. And so from there, she was able to be kind of like empowered to kind of create and maintain and host her own website. Obviously, this isn't the option for everyone, but it's really nice to have full control. Because either, I mean, like, what was his name? Null Count said, like, you're either kind of outsourcing the, you know, this website that you're trying to get in the end. You're outsourcing it to someone else and you're just giving them the control, which means you're probably gonna have to pay for it. You're gonna have to deal with whatever processes and limitations they have. So it's like, that's always an option, and like you should do that most of the time. But there's a few times when you wanna take responsibility for something, especially if it's your own website. I think that is something worth doing. And just like a simple HTML and CSS template you can host on GitHub for free, connect to Vercel. I mean, we could have put this on GitHub pages as well, all the same. I just like Vercel. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I think about it. And I did actually do, let's see, we did a workshop on this exact process. If you go into videos under Plebdevs, yeah, build your personal Plebdev portfolio site using HTML templates. So this is one I did a while ago, and it basically walks through this exact process from the beginning. But yeah, I mean, generally, like, I agree with what was being said here by Null Count. So Vercel has a free tier, yeah. Thanks, but what level of coding are we talking about? Yeah, exactly. Try card, website builder, unlimited bandwidth, unlimited storage. That sounds cool. Card with 2 R's. Card templates. This seems cool. What is this? Simple, free, fully responsive one-page sites for pretty much anything. This is awesome. I was just thinking, like, someone, because there's no reason why this can't be easy. Like, we have the tools to like host static websites. It's not that difficult. And yeah, I was just thinking, like, someone just needs to build like an easy builder for someone who's not technical to like kind of abstract all this stuff into the background. But okay, card seems cool, maybe. Sweet. Okay, so cheapest way to put up a very basic website. Honestly, good question. I'm gonna upload that. Yeah, GitHub, Netlify. Yeah, we like to build our own websites though. So we'll do that for right now. Okay, next story. This one is technical. I made a prototype library to enable off-chain buy-ins on discrete log contracts. Okay, sweet. So as a part of the Backdrop built hackathon, I elected to commit myself to making a prototype of the ticketed DLC protocol. Okay, what is this Backdrop build hackathon? I've never heard of this. Hundreds of builders take on the challenge of building and launching their crazy ideas in 4 weeks. Are you in? This is cool. AI, crypto, gross, gaming. Okay, it kind of just seems like a kind of generic tech, like hackathon platform. Backdrop build. Wonder who runs this. Okay, either way, that's cool. So I like to make myself a prototype of the ticketed DLC protocol proposed a few months back. 37 days later, here I am with a working prototype. Setting a deadline for yourself can really make a difference. Who knew? Wow. Okay, let's see what this protocol is. So off-chain ticketing for discrete log contracts. Wow, this is a lot. Let's bring our assistant in, Sam Altman. Sam Altman explained this to me. Summarize this write up for me. a layman, for me, a layman. Okay, did I get it all? Yeah. So discrete log contracts for ticketing. I'm just guessing this is like ticketing, like ticket to a show, ticket to a movie. So this article discusses a new protocol for executing discrete log contracts for Bitcoin aimed at improving scalability and efficiency, especially when dealing with large number of participants and smaller buy-ins. Traditional on-chain DLCs or participants deposit funds into a multi-signature contract and pre-signed transactions based on potential outcomes become impractical with many players due to the increasing transaction fees. Okay, so this is the current way of doing DLCs, I guess. It takes up a lot of space to add more participants. I see, because you need to pre-sign a bunch of transactions to have an outcome. So like a classic, I guess, DLC kind of contract would be like, who's going to win the election, who's going to win the Super Bowl. We kind of build a Bitcoin transaction together, and there's two possible, I guess there's two different transactions that might get broadcasted. This is where I don't understand DLCs. I know they do something cute with, what do they call it, adapter signatures. But it seems this is just solving the problem of just scalability, allowing more parties to kind of enter this bet or enter this contract. So the solution proposed involves a single market maker who fronts the overall value of the DLC, allowing players to buy in via the Bitcoin Lightning networks, significantly reducing on-chain transaction costs. Okay, so we're just taking the buy-in. Instead of doing it on-chain, we're doing it through Lightning. Process is designed to work with both HTLCs, PTLCs, the former currently available on the Lightning network. This concept utilizes a combination of public key aggregation, adaptive signatures, and off-chain payments to facilitate a scalable and trustless method for conducting DLCs. Players buy tickets off-chain, which give them a chance to claim a portion of the DLC's value depending on the outcome assigned by an oracle. Okay, that's interesting. So it kind of seems like we're taking the same model of almost like there's two outcomes or there's two parties in this Bitcoin transaction. But then people off-chain are able to buy into, I guess, a share of either of those sides of the bet. So that seems smart. The benefits of this approach include minimal on-chain footprint, non-custodial risk for the market maker, and the potential for fungibility if the PTLCs are used. I don't understand that. This protocol can be applied to various use cases such as lotteries, multiplayer games, and crowdfunding. Damn, that's really cool. Okay, so he built this, the ticketed DLC protocol. The repo's here, TLDR. I should have read this first. A ticketed DLC is a discrete log contract, is an off-chain scaling protocol which lets many people buy into a conditional payment contract, okay, with no additional on-chain footprint and no additional trust required. One person buying in looks the same on-chain as 100 people buying in. All buy-ins and payouts for a DLC can be done over Lightning, eCash, or cross-chain via atomic swaps. Damn. If you're not already familiar with DLCs, check out this document. They're essentially a way of wagering on which outcome a semi-trusted oracle will sign. Yeah, and this is like always one of the big problems you run into with something like this is like you need an oracle, aka some authority that says, yes, Trump won the election, or yes, Biden won the election, or the Eagles won the Super Bowl. And there's certain situations where you don't really want to trust any single oracle. So it still seems like they're going with like the single oracle design here versus like, I don't know, I think there's scheme. I don't know if you can do this on chain with Bitcoin, but I know that there are schemes where you can have multiple oracles and they, you know, 2 out of 3 of them need to agree or something like that. Okay, so there's definitely still plenty of optimization, upstream interop work left to do, and having PTLCs on Lightning would make this so much more efficient on chain. But as proof of concept I can play with today, I'm incredibly happy with the result. It seems this could actually work in the real world, running against reg test. All tests are passing, and simulated players can buy into simulated DLCs simply by buying SHA-256 pre-images via Lightning. Okay. Ultimately, though, this is only a Rust library. There's nothing for a user to play with beyond running the integration tests. Okay, I see. I'm curious if all plebs would be interested in collaborating to build something that could work as a more interactive demonstration on testnet. Hit me up. Cool. Tony Giorgio says this could be huge. Bit over my head, but Ben the Carmen might find this really interesting. Yeah, man, I need a breakdown from someone on the other side of the curve. I need them to break this down for me, but kind of makes sense. I mean, it just seems like they're like, forget putting more parties into this like on-chain DLC. Let's find a scheme for letting people buy in with Lightning. And then the question is just how do you do that trustlessly, or without reducing trust, I guess, or increasing trust. It seems like that's the approach he's made here, but damn, that's really cool. I didn't see this throughout the week, so I gotta give this a few zaps. Yeah, it's really cool. I love what he says here in the beginning. Like, setting a deadline for yourself can really make a difference. And it's cool. It's just cool to hear stories like this where someone is working on an ambitious project. They set a deadline and they just go after it, you know, whatever it takes. I've done that before. It's been super useful. Doesn't always work out, but it's a good way to do it. Hey, I found a cowboy hat. I'm the worst top cowboy. I'm not a top cowboy. I'm a bottom cowboy. Brokeback Mountain. Okay, next one. BitShala's Bitcoin Protocol Development Study Cohort from Supratic. Oh, I forgot. StackerNews has this nice tweet embed here. I love this. Cool. So the guided study cohort application is still open. This one will be dense and intense. We'll test your seriousness for the depths of Bitcoin and its technical magic. If you're a starting level Bitcoin FOSS-Dev, this is specially crafted for you, starting tomorrow on April 26th. April? Am I getting my dates mixed up? Maybe they meant March, because this was tweeted out on March 24th. Anyway, attention Bitcoin devs and philosophers. Damn, I love that term, Bitcoin philosopher. That's what I should call myself. Devs and Bitcoin philosophers announcing the Bitcoin Protocol Development Cohort, completing BitShala's Bitcoin Quarterlet. So BitShala, oh no. I don't know much about BitShala. So Bitcoin Protocol Dev, 8 weeks. So designed by Chaincode. Okay, cool. So this is Chaincode, Bitcoin Development Cohort. So learn about the basics of Bitcoin Protocol, understanding Bitcoin Protocol, practical knowledge, certificate of completion. That's always cool. And then community. Okay. So online, weekly live session group. So we go over Bitcoin basics, advanced concepts, community engagement in 6 weeks. Okay, here we go. Here's the track. So welcome to Bitcoin Protocol Development Seminar. Then SegWit. Okay, so I guess this is probably legacy. SegWit, mining and network block propagation, P2P network, scripts and wallets, and next steps. Interesting. They have SegWit over here, but scripts and wallets on week 5. But hey, this seems cool. Shout out to Chaincode and BitShala. Love to see more dev education. So cool. Give you a few more zaps. All right. Do a few more stories here. C++ creator rebuts White House warning. Oh, okay. Interesting. So, on February 28th, I shared a news article reporting that the White House is urging developers to switch to memory-safe programming languages. Did you all ever see this story? This was pretty good. White House urges devs to switch to memory-safe programming language. So now I've not got all my friends in Austin here telling me to use memory-safe languages, and now the damn president is telling me, like, come on, just let me use JavaScript. I'll switch to TypeScript once I'm in prod. But okay, White House, they're urging developers to use memory-safe programming languages. I mean, that's good. We should do that. So yesterday, Bjarne Strautstrup, the creator of C++. I've seen some interviews with this guy. He's a beast. So he wrote his response to this issue. Are we gonna? Ooh, this thing's probably gonna be long. No, it's not that long. Okay. So Biden administration seems. Oh my gosh. seems oblivious of the strengths of contemporary C++ and the efforts to provide strong safety guarantees. So Bjarne has defended the widely used programming language in response to the Biden administration report that calls on developers to use memory-safe languages and avoid using vulnerable ones such as C++ and C. Okay, that's actually interesting. I did not know that they said to avoid using C++ and C. I was just assuming this is about me. It's about JavaScript, you know. Where did they say that? The new 19-page report gave C and C++ as two examples of programming languages, the memory safety vulnerabilities. Did they really not mention? Did they really not mention JavaScript? So they listed C#, Go, Java, Ruby, and Swift in addition to Rust as programming languages and considers to be memory safe. Yeah, I mean this like title of memory safe and memory unsafe that they're giving is a little bit arbitrary, because like you can have a C or C++ program that is memory safe or is not, and it's not based off the language, it's based off of the program itself, if it has memory leaks or not, right? Like am I reading this stupid? Okay, let's look at Bjarne's response. Okay, so Strupp pointed out the strengths of C++, which was designed in 1979. Damn. I find it surprising that the writers of those government documents seem oblivious to the strengths of contemporary C++ and the efforts to provide strong safety guarantees. On the other hand, they seem to have realized that a programming language is just one part of a tool chain, so that improved tools and development processes are essential. Safety improvement has always been a goal of C++ development efforts. Improving safety has been an aim of C++ from day one and throughout its evolution. Just compare to the C language, earliest versions of C++, blah, blah, blah. He said, much quality C++ is written using techniques based off of resource acquisition is initialization containers and resource management pointers rather than conventional C-style pointer messes. Okay, and I think he's in a much smarter way kind of saying what I was trying to say, which is like we have ways of structuring our programs to avoid memory leaks. I've never heard of resource acquisition is initialization. Wow, I hate that acronym. I've never heard of that, but I mean, it just seems like some other organization technique for your code, like OOP or functional. Or maybe even something like ACID on databases, where you want like your database to be atomic, consistent, isolated, durable. But I don't know. It's pretty interesting. There are two problems related to safety. Of the billions of lines of C++, few completely follow modern guidelines, and people's notions of which aspects of safety are important differ. I and the C++ Standard Committee are trying to deal with that. Okay. Well, that was kind of less interesting than I thought. I mean, it just seems like the White House made like a very sweeping statement about what is and isn't memory safe, and that you should use memory safe languages because of the cyber pandemic that's coming. But then, what's his name? Bjarne is just out here saying like, yo, you all are doing it wrong. We can make memory safe C++ programs. We've been doing it since 1979. Pretty interesting. Okay, let's do a few more stories. Introducing code scanning autofix powered by GitHub Copilot and CodeQL. So now in public beta for GitHub Advanced Security customers. I don't know what that is. I don't think I'm one of those. Code scanning autofix helps developers remediate more than 2/3 of supposed alerts with little or no editing. Okay, so these are like the alerts that you get. Like, I probably have these right now. Like if I go to unread notifications, yep. They're all security vulnerabilities. That's literally, I absolutely hate GitHub notifications. I mean, they don't tell me anything I want to see. Like, your PR has been approved. They don't tell me that, but they're like, hey, this repo, this shitty website you built 5 years ago has like a vulnerability. I mean, it's nice to know about vulnerabilities. It is nice. It's just when that's the only notifications. So yeah, I guess this is what's referring to, these kinds of vulnerabilities. Okay, let's check it out. So found means fixed, introducing code scanning, autofix powered by GitHub, Copilot, and CodeQL. Interesting. Okay, code scanning autofix covers more than 90% of alert types in JavaScript, TypeScript, Java, and Python, and delivers code suggestions shown to remediate more than 2/3 of found vulnerabilities, little or no editing. Okay. Our vision for application security is an environment where found means fixed by prioritizing the developer experience in GitHub Advanced Security. We already help teams remediate 7x faster than traditional security tools. Code scanning autofix is the next leap forward, helping developer. Okay. How does it work? How it works. When a vulnerability is discovered in a supported language, fix suggestions will include a natural language explanation of the suggested fix, together with a preview of the code suggestion that the developer can accept, edit, or dismiss. In addition to changes to the current file, these code suggestions can include changes to multiple files and the dependencies that should be added on the project. Okay, let's just see what it looks like.
Code security.
Okay, so you see an alert, and it gives you an explanation. That's pretty nice. It's too small, I'm sorry. Dismiss suggestion, commit fix, edit. Oh, that's pretty nice. I like stuff like this where it's like, it's not asking you to introduce something new into like your coding workflow. It's more of just like, hey, we're just gonna read your repo. We're gonna give you these, what should be no-brainer suggestions and timeless suggestions. I kind of like that, especially for, I mean, things where, I don't know, you're using a library that's been used a million times, like Express, but maybe you're a new developer and you're using Express for the first time, and there's these little gotchas, these you know, little vulnerabilities you may not know about. It would be nice if even like in a syntax highlighter, if there was a special kind of syntax highlight for like, hey, there's a small vulnerability in this piece of code. I mean, something like that would be cool, like something that you can ignore, but something that's like showing you right inside the code. But yeah, I think doing it via PR is also really cool. I have something, a bot that I set up literally forever ago. Let's see. I might have, no, I don't have the PR from it. Let's look at my closed PRs. Okay, yeah, so image bot. This is really cool. So this is a bot that just like, I just attached it to my GitHub, and it essentially, every time I upload an image to a repo, it just takes that image and it just reduces the size of it, and then it opens a PR. And so like I can ignore it if it's just a throwaway project. I don't care about optimizing it. I can just ignore the PR. But like, it's nice. I've been working on my new portfolio website, and it has a bunch of images on it. And just like as I've been, oh no, it's supposed to be Bitcoin. Oh, that was the old development link, bitcoinpleb.dev. Yeah. So yeah, just a ton of images here, and like as I was adding images and changing them, it was just opening up more PRs, just kind of optimizing them. And it doesn't reduce the quality or the size or change anything. It just seems to get rid of, like, not even get rid of, it seems to just compress it. But yeah, I mean, that's a cool example of something like that. And I feel like these kinds of bots are a little bit underutilized. So yeah, it looks cool. I mean, I'm not going to pay for it anytime soon, but that looks cool. Okay, the Wild Hustle, GitHub. So this is a cool story. Hey freaks, it's your favorite dev LARP here, the Wild Hustle. Just reporting on my 1-year dev journey so far. So the Wild Hustle initially started out with 100 days of Python on Replit. Never finished, got to day 50. Day 50 is pretty far. I've never done 100 days of code. I mean, I've coded 100 days in a row, but it was, you know, it wasn't a plan. It just happened. So, I mean, it's, I don't know. These aren't my kind of things, but a lot of people like to do this. But still, day 50, that's a lot. That's a lot of experience, like writing Python 50 days in a row. Then Hustle gravitated to, I love how he's speaking in the third person here. It's pretty badass. Then Hustle gravitated towards the Plebdev and Nostr dev course. Let's go. Never finished the Nostr dev course. It's okay. We need to update it. There's some Nostr has become, or the Nostr dev course has become a little bit outdated, sadly, over the last year. With help, Hustle was able to submit a PR to Ellen Bits to fix an issue with their account manager. Hustle volunteered to create a Nostr login for Friendster and never was able to get the thing working. Damn. Okay, well this is cool right here. So first PR. Yeah, so this is a hard one here. I mean, it took me like 3 years, I think, from when I started coding before I got my first kind of like open source PR merged in. It's hard. I mean, even if you're working on a really simple issue, and this is what everyone tells you to do, is like start with something simple. Look for issues with the tag good first issue or something like that. And that's all fine and good, but you're still dealing with the whole app, the whole environment yourself. You have to get it running. You need to be able to parse through the entire code base. Not all the time. Maybe if you're just updating documentation, it's a little more simple, but my point is it's a difficult task for junior devs, and a lot of times when you try and go to work on your first open source issue, this might be the first time that you're actually seeing like a real production app. You know, because at this point you've been building to-do list apps or example projects on YouTube or something like that. So it's a really big jump, and it's something that people kind of just like throw out and tell you like, oh, go contribute to open source, go like do a good first issue. But it really is difficult. So, you know, give yourself proper credit for getting one of these in your first year. That's a huge achievement. So nowadays, Hustle is using the GitHub as a temporary location for the Freedom Trek rap podcast script. Okay, storing and updating NixOS flakes and home manager stuff. Based. A location for poorly designed noob sauce coding projects, my favorite. And a place to track and swoon over FOSS projects. Amazing. So roadmap is selfishly use the NixOS territory to level up my Nix skills and post the latest Nix news for sats. It's a good plan. Get more acquainted with and regularly write code for an open source project, probably SN, LN Bits, or Cashew. Update and play around with projects already in my repo. Finish Nostr Devs, Plebdevs courses, workshops, and tutorials. Shout out to Bitcoin Plebdev and Captain Stacks. Sweet. Well, thank you. Shout out to you. You know, we're not doing anything. You're out here grinding, and that is hard. The first year of being a developer is absolutely the hardest, and most people don't make it. I was imagining when I was early on learning how to code, I did actually give up multiple times. I kind of gave up and had to start back from zero. It's very painful, and it takes a huge hit to your just confidence and your sanity. But, you know, I started building up this framing of my mind of imagining, you know, all of the people in the world trying to learn how to code. Like, how many people in the world do you think are trying to learn how to code? You know, like maybe 100 million, maybe 200 million, maybe 500 million. Maybe that's overshooting. I don't know. But there's a lot of people that want to or kind of try to learn how to code. And so I imagine myself as like almost in competition with all these people. I'm in this group of 100 million. And as I make it to more and more milestones, I'm getting into a smaller and smaller group of more expert devs, right? So you're in the group of 100 million. You just want to learn how to code. Well, once you write your first bit of code and maybe push your first program or your first basic website to GitHub, all of a sudden you're in a new echelon because the 100 million people haven't done that. Maybe only 50 million people have done that, right? And then maybe once you release your first app, or maybe once you get your first user, and you make your first open source contribution, you're just whittling down and getting into more and more scarce territory. And that's kind of the mindset I took on, is just become more and more of a valuable developer, get more and more of these milestones behind me, and it will help build up your confidence. And I mean, also, it's just the experience. It's the dirt that you have to eat to get there. So just try and frame it and make it fun, and realize that it's a long journey and there's going to be a lot of L's along the way. But the L's don't matter. Like the losses and giving up on a project, that doesn't matter. What matters is these milestones and these wins, because they take you into a whole new echelon of developers. And so that was a really good mindset for me. And like, I would encourage anyone, like, I guess in a similar position as a Wild Hustle, or I don't know, if you're even just thinking about learning how to code, you know, take on this mindset. Just start with something simple, and you know, realize that you can get further and further, and get more and more into a scarce skill set and kind of a scarce community of developers. I don't know if that makes sense for you, but it makes a lot of sense for me. But yeah, shout out to the Wild Hustle. I love this sharing and building in public, especially when it's not all butterflies and bubblegum and fun. Like, there's a lot of things that you try and that don't work out. So shout out to the Wild Hustle for sharing. I wish I could zap this more, but the zaps are forwarded to me. Sweet. Yeah. Let's go. Let's go to the Plebdevs. More C++ safety. Okay, I think that's a good time to cut off. So, read through, what is this? 4, 5, 6 stories. So that's pretty good. That's not bad. Yeah, I think I want to do this every week.